That's all he can think about. Looking at somebody else's misery.
Taking pictures on your phone is still using your mobile phone, mate. £100 fine and 3 points. Get on your way. Hello, Neil.
The lorry cab that broke off is now on a ramp.
Recovery teams take away the damaged lorries, but the carriageway can't be reopened until the motorway has been inspected.
Lanes 3 and 4 might be quite badly damaged. We might just have to close lanes 3 and 4 and only open 2 lanes, but it's still better than none. So we'll see where he goes. It's just a waiting game for us now.
Noel Phillips is the incident duty officer. He's concerned that the fluid from the crash has leaked onto the carriageway.
Just small old diesel. Yeah. So I'm just going to have to carry on treating it, see if we can get it up and get it absorbed up. If not, it's going to have to be try and do something about resurfacing, but that's the last option.
Noel watches a treatment lorry pass over the section of road.
Diesel's really causes a big problem. If it does get to that stage and it seeps in too deep and we can't get it off the carriageway, you have to resurface it.
The diesel and the oil now started going into the tarmac. As soon as you get any rain on that, it's just going to come straight back out again and we're going to end up with accidents.
The signs aren't good at the moment, are they? It's going to be a resurfacing job.
Total closure for a while then?
Yes, it's going to be a long night then.
Oh dear. The inspector's just inspected the carriageway and it's worse than worst case scenario because we thought it'd only be 2 lanes. Unfortunately, all 4 lanes need to be resurfaced.
We have to keep the carriageway shut until I'm certain that the travelling public can travel on the network in the same condition previous to the incident. If I neglected to do my job, then the next incident that happened or accident that happened would be due to my neglect, and that's not what we're here for.
The road's dug up in the darkness.
It probably opened as a managed motorway 2 weeks ago, so it's still fairly new.
And you're already digging it
up? And we're
up?
already digging it up, yeah. There's going to be a fair bit of work.
In the end, it took a team of road workers 6 hours and 40 minutes to resurface the carriageway. The bill for the work is estimated at over £40,000 and will be paid for by the insurers of the vehicles involved.
Obviously, this can't go onto the taxpayers. This has to be sought after, and a payment has to be taken from the people that caused the incident, and it's not the taxpayers.
The cost of redesigning Catthorpe Junction at the start of the M6 is just over £190 million of taxpayers' money.
It's just nice, after all these years, to suddenly be out here. We've got pegs up, we've got the fence lines coming up, we've got the trees coming down, we've got the speed cameras going up. We're going to get a good start on this job. It's going to be fantastic.
After 11 years of planning, the first stage of the roadworks has begun.
Half vampires, aren't we? Night walkers.
As the motorways can't be closed during the redesign work, the first step is to give the construction workers safe areas in which to operate.
Oh, Jesus.
We will have narrower lanes than usual will be in place, so you need to drop the speed down so people are driving safely through. The barriers are there designed to be impacted at a certain speed, and we have that all designed to ensure that the people that are going to be working here on the verges, putting the new duct runs in, putting the new bridges in, are kept safe.
It's going to cause havoc, like taking 3 lanes down to 2 lanes for the M1 and the M6, but, you know, it's got to be done. That's the thing that the public can't seem to get their head around. They want the roads repairing, they want them maintained, but they don't want anybody to come out and do it. So what you're supposed to do? That's why everything's done at night, because it's, you know, it's a lot quieter.
Damien West and his team will be marking out the new temporary lanes.
This is a lining machine, plastic lining machine. Does all variant types: white, black, spray, extrusion, rib line. Just keep pull forward, Shag, so we can set up.
To paint the new white lines over miles of motorway, A high-powered dryer prepares the road before paint is sprayed on to the carriageway.
They're pretty ferocious, like they're about 135 decibel.
Until Catthorpe Junction is finished, there will be night works on and off for the next 24 months.
Do you know why this junction's being redesigned and stuff?
Yeah,
Tell me why.
it's shit. Yeah, it's been needing doing for a long time.
Highway maintenance vehicles working on the carriageway at night, and traffic flowing between cones. A low morning sun casts a hazy glow over the countryside.
Just a mile from the roadworks is the rural village of Swinford. Today, construction manager Mark Sutton and his team are holding a public exhibition here to unveil their new plans for Catthorpe Junction.
I've got great faith that everyone's going to be nice and polite and that we're going to have all the answers ready for people. Last minute revision.
Rural stress. I think I might just give him a quick call.
Ivan Marriott works for the Highways Agency and will be helping construction manager Mark answer queries from the locals.
So that junction is going to change completely.
What we're building there is the mirror image of the existing off-slip.
See, I lived at Catthorpe till I got married. So I've seen a lot of changes, and that was 42 years ago.
43.
43, all right. Every time we come through, there's bumpers and wheel trims, and you know, somebody smacks somebody. You know.
It should never have been done as it was, but obviously people didn't foresee the amount of traffic.
This is good. This is all for the best. It's all for good. Yeah.
I mean, one I've taught myself is not to open the mouth unless you know what you're going to respond to. There's no room for blagging anything here. You've got to be completely truthful, completely honest. If you don't know, and if I don't know, say so, make the note, get the details, and come back with the detail at a later date.
Who can I contact during the night?
During the night?
Yes.
You can contact. Do you want my details?
Who do you work for?
I'm Skanska.
No, I certainly don't. Not under any conditions.
With night works already underway, the construction has become all too real for local farmer Mr. Turney.
I haven't had any sleep for 3 nights. I've got 7 or 8 vehicles grinding, flashing lights and banging all night in front of the house. I object to being woken up.
Yeah, I appreciate
I mean, how are you supposed to work when you can't get a night's sleep?
We have to. There's some elements of the work we have got to do at night time because we can't do them during
Why
the
not?
day. We've got to do the work at night time because that's the only time we can get on the network and do this particular activity, which is, but it's just very dangerous, and therefore the only time we can.
Well, how dangerous do you think it is if we drive tractors and deal with stock and we've had no sleep all night? That's safe, is it? You shouldn't be allowed to wake people at night. People are entitled to a night's sleep.
I don't particularly want to disturb your sleep, Mr. Taylor, and that's not what we've been trying to do here. We'll look at to see whether there's anything else we can do, and I'll come back to you on that one.
Very good.
Okay.
No, well, look, thank you very much.
Thank you. It is like being a little bit on sort of question time, I suppose, isn't it? You don't know what people are going to throw at you. But I do understand that in circumstances, if somebody's either been kept awake at night or whatever, then they're going to be agitated for reasons, and I know I've got to deal with that as part of the role that we do here. So it's not over yet.
One regular user of Catthorpe Junction is trucker Paul Reed. He will also be attending the exhibition.
And it's notorious. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the country that doesn't know about the junction. I don't believe that what's being put forward is sufficient enough to improve the whole junction itself.
He's dedicated hours of his spare time designing his own vision of the junction.
I was watching the film The Great Escape and many years ago, and I thought that's where the idea came from. The idea was that, so, well, if we can build tunnels as good as what we can, why can't we do the same here? I've always believed that the British are best for engineering anything. It consists of 2 underpasses. It has additional levelling roads which come from the M1 northbound, from the M6, and it also has from the A14 going up to M1 southbound in the far corner.
He indicates on his model, then smiles. Back at the exhibition, some people have brought their dogs.
Now it's time to see how Paul's plans measure up against Mark's.
Hello there.
Hello.
Mr. Reid, I've got a couple of questions.
Yep, quick look on the
Yeah.
side of it.
There's a hell of a lot of lorries that use this junction. This is the bugbear because lorries aren't fast, they're slow. They need plenty of room to merge together. When you've got cars dittering around in here, out there, it's like a pinball game. And unfortunately, that's why accidents happen.
With the construction of the contraflow and the sort of taper that will form, I think that will actually physically prevent people from doing that.
I've looked at this, and I've looked obviously at mine, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, the concept is exactly the same. It's just that mine's tunnels and yours is a dual carriageway which goes under the M1. But as it stands, looking at this, yes, it'll work.
I hope so. That's the main thing, is get rid of that congestion on that M6 and open it up again. That's the main driver.
The M6 is a major transport route, with lorries carrying up to 182 million tonnes of goods to the northwest of the country every year.
This'll do for me. Golf November Zulu. The training looks like it's worth doing.
Keeping watch over them at a strategic check site near Junction 14 is a team of inspectors from the Department for Transport.
Keep moving. This tyre's about to blow at any time. It'll go bang. 385, 65, 22.5 super singles, these are known as. If this goes bang, chances are it could rip off the back tyre, all sorts of things. He won't be leaving here with this tyre on, that's for sure. He'll get a fixed penalty for it. Change.
The inspectors here target lorries they suspect are faulty or unsafe and have the power to pull over any lorry driving on British roads.
One of the supporting straps is broken. And the trouble is that the other strap and the supporting structure is that weak. That's just not going to last much longer. But if it fell out, it's bouncing down the road, and that's going to cause a massive obstruction and possibly cause fatalities. It's more than likely the trailer will be immobilised if it's not repaired by 5 o'clock.
We get treated like scum by everybody, by other car drivers, by the police, but yet every single thing that's in every shop and everybody's house has been in the back of a lorry at some point in time. And there'd be no next day delivery or no fresh bread if it wasn't for us, so, you know, they should be grateful that we pound the highways night and day.
But lorry drivers have limitations on the amount of hours they can pound the highways.
Can I just ask you to jump out so I can check your tacho?
Tachographs record their every movement and will reveal whether a driver has gone over their maximum 9 hours regulated driving time.
Clearly we see offences at the side of the road every single day, whether that's a deliberate attempt to flout the rules and regulations or whether it's a genuine lack of knowledge. It's debatable, isn't it, really?
But a minority of lorry drivers flout the rules more deliberately. The use of simple magnets can disable the tachograph, allowing them to drive longer undetected.
We've got the magnet that was actually found here, and it's a particularly strong magnet, and we've got some photos of the evidence here as well, so that is currently going through due process at the moment. The information we received from the roadside was that, in fact, there were 307 kilometres missing from the tachograph down to that magnet being utilised. And in fact, the driver had been on duty for over 19 hours when he was stopped.
As well as disabling the tachograph, they also interfere with the anti-lock braking systems and the speed limiters on the vehicle. So you've got a nasty cocktail there.
This is a company from Netherlands. We can see there that we're entering in the southeast ports. They're travelling northwest through the Midlands up on the M6. From April the 5th, they become a national target for impounding.
So what we can expect over the next couple of weeks, if we're successful in targeting, in 1 or 2 of these vehicles being impounded.
That's right.
Good.
In the last year, 38 magnets have been found at this check site on the M6.
So this is the cupboard of shame, basically.
Yes.
Everything up here is magnets.
Absolutely full.
What happens is the magnet kills the electronic signal, and then the tachograph just thinks it's at rest. The companies quote for the work, and they give them these unrealistic timescales to get there, and the drivers are under pressure to do it, and the boss says, well, I don't care how you do it, you just get there on that. If you've got to be there at 8 in the morning, you've got to be there. If you've got to drive through the night, I don't care how you do it, and that's what they do.
Risking their own lives as well.
Road users. They're driving a 40-ton missile,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, they can be extremely, you know, cause carnage and death, and this is what the problem is.
In a family car,
Look at this big lorry, Sebby. What do you think's inside that big lorry, Sebby? What do you think it's carrying inside?
And there's monsters in there. Monsters?
Yes, monsters. Monsters on the motorway.
Sebby throws his toy and it hits his head.
I missed it. So is this still a motorway?
This is a motorway at the moment, yes.
Sebby's mum passes him a bottle of milk.
You can have some of this if you want. Have a drink.
Remember, you need to tell me if you need to stop for a wee-wee again, Sebby.
I know, but that's James's milk, but you can have
Where's
some if you
Sebby's?
want. Don't know. Oh, he's just throwing it on the floor. Sebastian, I can't reach that now.
Every year, millions of lorries travel up and down the M6, carrying everything from petrol to sewage, from beer to live animals.
How long do we think?
You've said it could take up to 3 hours to repair the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Outside Stoke-on-Trent on the M6, a lorry carrying a cargo of bread, vegetables and milk has overturned and spilt its load.
Quickly found it on camera and realised there was quite a lot of fluid coming out of it, which was later discovered to be milk. Although it's only milk, it can be quite a serious issue.
What caused the accident is unclear, but luckily the driver escaped with minor injuries. Now, the Highways Agency must close the whole southbound carriageway as they attempt to clear the scene.
We've stopped the traffic, ready to install a nice big line of cones across there.
Yeah, they're travelling through now to meet us at Yarnfield and just making sure everyone's aware that what I'm doing.
Motorway maintenance manager Paul Diamond needs to get to the scene as quickly as possible.
Cheers, thank you. Just been given the OK now to travel northbound on the southbound carriageway, which is under a total closure, so it's safe to do so, which will assist us in getting to scene.
Paul's job is to oversee the vital repairs and assess the cost of the damage.
That's a rare sight. It's a car travelling the wrong way down the motorway. That's one way of missing the queues. He'll be a senior road worker.
A lot of the milk, you probably can just see it's come off the truck. It's gone into the drains and going under here down the watercourse. The environmental agency have been, and they're worried, and they have a team down there at the moment trying to stop it getting into a pond and contaminating the pond, because this milk is worse than most stuff, because it just takes all the oxygen out of the water and kills fish.
There's a big issue when it gets into the water, a very costly issue as well.
So will a fish have a cost?
Yeah, carp can be worth up to £1,000 a fish for a big fish. So it all depends now on how much of the milk's got into the watercourse.
Has the diesel and the milk got through to the pond or the brook? It has.
It does, yeah.
People don't realise that something happening here can affect something a kilometre away from the motorway. And it's the environment, and of course the environment, no one wants to damage the environment in any shape or form. But the motorway must run.
They're in the position I'd expect them to be in now to start lifting the vehicle, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long.
A man with Monty written on his cap.
The last one I did down here was loaded with salmon. They'd done the same thing. And all we were doing is carting salmon for hours. 4 or 5 hours into the job of mauling salmon about, you smell a little bit, you know.
Oh, the cab slipped.
I've got to get something under the wheels to make it grip.
Yeah, recovery having a bit of trouble at the moment, getting this vehicle up. It's slipping on the milk and diesel.
At the moment, we're in the hands of a recovery firm. So as soon as they're out of the way, we'll start repairing the centre reserve. The lads can work here, so we're getting this one done now. As long as the recovery's here, we're sort of depressurised slightly, but as soon as they're gone, that's when the pressure's powered onto us to get out of the way.
It's a very long junction, 14 to 15. Our priority is informing the public. If you don't have to go on this motorway, don't. But you can see how many people are involved on the scene at the moment. I mean, it's a huge recovery operation.
Watch now, watch now. Here we go, here we go.
The lorry tips from its side back onto its wheels.
See what's happened as it's been lifted up. The side has completely come off it, which has made our job even worse. This has added hours to the recovery.
HGV's been righted by the looks of it.
They righted that the side's split and the rest of the contents have fallen out into the carriageway.
Oh, God.
So
Nice.
there's more bread and milk on the carriageway now.
This is Kiel Services, and it's absolutely gridlocked, and we have 60 minutes of delays on the southbound. We have 11 kilometres of congestion, all filtering into a single lane of traffic. It is a huge problem, and the traffic will only get busier. Now, these guys, they've had all of the local travel alerts. Every junction, we've warned them about these delays. I'll show you the end of the queue.
He spots a tank on a flatbed truck.
Oh, you may need a tank to get through the traffic for the next 2 hours.
Traffic flows across a flyover, silhouetted against the sun.
Along its 232 miles, the M6 carves through some of Britain's most beautiful rural landscapes.
A horse and some cows in a paddock.